So the Living Desert started as a 360-acre nature preserve in 1970. A group of benefactors were looking for a name for their preserve, and one of them had a neighbor who had put together a documentary on the desert. So he went to his neighbor and asked if he could use the name of his documentary to name this nature preserve. The name of his neighbor, Walt Disney. And the name of that documentary was a 1953 documentary called The Living Desert. Walt loved the idea and said absolutely, and The Living Desert was off and running, opening on March 9th, 1970. Now home to over 500 animals and 150 different species, this place is all about conservation by way of education, preservation, and appreciation. The Living Desert continues to expand. The land here now encompasses about 1,800 acres. So when you come to the Living Desert, they want you to buy your tickets online now, or they have kiosks up front, but you can no longer buy tickets at the window. So plan in advance, but there's plenty of parking. And then once you go through the gates over there, you're on your own. So by on your own, I mean when you come in, you can go left or right. Self-guided tour, you can get a map. They'll give you a map and it shows you all the different lands and the different animals. Or you can do a guided tour where sometimes you're paired with somebody, other group, or you can do a private guided tour, and then you would pick up your cart over here. This building over here. So this is the map they give you when you come into the Living Desert, and you can see there's lots of different trails to take, walkways, lots of different animals to see. But if you can see here, this is where the trailhead is to go out into the desert. And they actually include a map of the hiking trails. So you can see there's various trails. The San Andreas fault line really isn't too far from the trailhead, which is right by the Bighorn sheep exhibit. So, but depending on how enthusiastic you are about hiking, lots of different routes you can take out there, in addition to walking around the Living Desert itself. These are the mongoose.
And over in the habitat here is our male Jolly. Now he is a pretty much full-grown eastern black rhino. You get a rhino savanna. I'm clear of the exclusion zone. So on the continent of Africa, you get two species of rhinos. You get black rhinos and you get white rhinos. Now the only way to tell them apart reliably is you gotta look at their nose and their mouth. Because the name black or white rhino is actually a really bad name. Because it does not, you cannot look at him like, oh, he's a black rhino, because he's a black or darker coloration. That comes from a mistranslation from Dutch to English. A Dutch person said, this is a wide rhino. The Englishman heard white instead. So that's where the name white rhino comes from. So years later, when they found a new species of rhino, originally they went, well, we already have a white rhino, so this must be a black rhino.
One of the other things you can do, it's a separate fee, but you can feed the giraffes here at the Living Desert, or you can just step over to the side and watch them eat on their own.
Hi folks. What we have here on the left is our largest giraffe. He's the largest animal in the zoo. His name is Kelly, and he's 19 feet tall and weighs basically 2,700 pounds.
Wow.
He's our breeding male, and he's the only one of our 5 males that is not neutered. So he's intact. And that's why his head is heavier. He has more bony protrusions on his skull.
Everything's lit up. The whole
And they're eating alfalfa. That basket was full a half an hour ago.
Oh wow.
Yeah. It's not just been 2. There
Oh, okay. They all
5 or
take
6
turns.
here.
This is magnificent.
And it's one of our females on the right. Her name is Vicky Lou. She's one of our younger females. She's one of our 2 breeding females.
And this would be an example of one of the guided tours. And warthogs. Dee Dee Ramon would be proud. This is the leopard. You see how big the paws are. There's also a petting zoo, or petting corral. It's primarily goats. But one thing about the living desert, they allow you to bring your own food in, your own water, juice, that kind of stuff. And they have picnic tables and stuff around for you to sit down and have a picnic. Or they also have various restaurants and little food stands and things if you don't want to bring your own stuff. But that's kind of convenient to bring your own food and snacks in. The Thorn Tree Grill is just one of the food establishments here on the property. And we got porcupines. There's more porcupines. African painted dogs. And we've got the meerkats. More meerkats. You also got to watch out for the non-caged animals, critters. They something else they have for kids of all ages is they have this railroad system. This is one of the things if you want to, you know, you can adopt animals here. You can get on the website and for different fees you can adopt animals, but you can also basically adopt a train and put your names on some of these billboards or even the town, depending on how much you donate, I guess. But quite an elaborate system. They've put a lot of time into this. So if you're into trains, or even if you're not into trains, as I said, very elaborate. It's a huge setup here. There's all sorts of different informational boards around telling you about the different plant life and the animals and just different things around the park. So you're not at a loss for information being handy. Another example of one of the private guided tours. They have different animal shows here throughout the day, different times, and this is one of the locations you would come to where they bring out different animals and you can interact with them. And this is the cheetah. So they have different areas where different kinds of birds, roadrunners, owls, other kind of birds are caged and you can walk around and see. Very near the jaguar enclosure. It's a burrowing owl. And there's the jaguar, top of the rocks. So we've made it to the Australian section. Who knew? Now this area is enclosed. You got to go through 2 gates to get into here because many of the animals are running loose through here. So the wallabies just run loose in this environment here. We'll see when you come here. There's lots of volunteers, lots of docents, very knowledgeable in the different areas they're working in, very polite, always willing to answer questions, point you in the right direction, but there's always someone around to answer animal questions or whatever. Everyone here is great. There's also these birds that are loose, and if you happen to time it right and you get here at feeding time, it's fantastic watching them fly right to the people that work here, and they have little tin pans of bird seed and whatever they eat, so it's a good time to watch. And this would be an olive python, native to Australia. They have a bald eagle. And a golden eagle. It's a bat-eared fox. And there he goes. Not a fan of the channel.
Been in human care pretty much their entire lives, so I'll tell you a little bit about them. So we have Rose and Sage. Rose is the one that's up and moving around now. Sage is the one that's still kind of sleepy. They are non-biologically related, so they were separate orphan cases. Rose was found in the wild, she's so cute, out in a field in Northern California, found by a Good Samaritan, turned into Fish and Wildlife, and transported to the Oakland Zoo. She was about a month old. So highly emaciated, in critical need of veterinary care, didn't have mom, so wasn't going to survive.
And the badger.
Good morning, folks.
One thing I'll say is if you do the self-guided tour where you walk around on your own, just be aware there's a lot of acreage to cover. So take advantage of the benches and take breaks and bring some water and just take your time. It can get really hot out here. So they also have a animal hospital and conservatory conservation center where you can go in and actually see animals that are on the mend, and you can see where they have to do medical procedures and things if need be, if they get injured or something. And you can go in there and they'll tell you all about it. We're going to bypass that just because it's a little busy in there, but well worth a stop if you're here in the park. Some very knowledgeable people working in there will tell you all about the different things they do in there. And again, you can see certain animals that are on the mend. So there's another eatery if you choose to eat here as opposed to bring your own food. So you may have seen there's a lot of Christmas decorations and stuff out. They have a deal at night called Wildlights. Here they have just thousands of holiday lights and different things set up from roughly Thanksgiving until the end of December. So that's a separate ticket. Starts at 6 p.m. on the nights they do it, and it's a timed ticket, so you buy 6, 6:15, 6:30, whatever. But we will show you Wildlights. Lots of shirts, hats, plush toys, coffee mugs, magnets, a lot of different things.
You want to put it back? Yeah.
So we're back for Wildlights at the Living Desert. And again, this is a separate ticket. You don't have to buy a membership or anything for the park. Anybody can buy a ticket to this holiday light show, but you pretty much need to do it online. There is a kiosk over there if this is a last minute decision, but this does sell out during the holiday season. So now, just a fair warning, if anyone has a sensitivity to flashing lights, there may be flashing lights in there. I'm not sure, but we'll all find out together. So we made it in. that's going to do it, everyone, for this video on our adventure of the living desert and visiting the Wildlights show, the Holiday Light Show. I hope you enjoyed it and appreciate you watching. I encourage you to come and visit the living desert if you're out here in the Coachella Valley, you know, Palm Springs to Indio area. We barely scratched the surface on the animals you can see and some of the things you can do. So it's really worth a side trip if you're out here playing golf or doing something else. But anyway, there's a lot more to come, and we will see you next time on Discover This.